Hey you, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and my aim is to improve your drawings just like others have done for me when I just started out. Today I'll be covering the supplies I recommend for starting with soft pastels. Let me first start by saying that I divided this video into different sections, so if you'd rather not hear the introduction part of the video but skip straight to the materials, go ahead. During this video, I'll mention a couple of my other videos that I find helpful when it's applicable. You don't need to go and watch these, but I can imagine if you're anything like I was, you just love to see and learn everything out there. In the description below, you'll find some affiliate links to the products I recommend. Again, you don't need to do this, but if you are going to buy something, if you do this using one of my links, I get a small commission at no extra cost for you. Either way, I'm already very grateful that you're here watching this video. Now back to the beginner pastel supplies. This can be a bit overwhelming at first because you seem to have so many options. You've got pencils, soft pastels and pastel sticks, and not that long ago pan pastels were introduced. And when it comes to paper, there is also a variety of choices, going from really smooth to very rough on the surface, so it's quite easy to get lost when you first start out. This is where the confusion mostly starts. What do you need to buy? Pastels is also a rather expensive medium, so you can't buy everything without breaking the bank. Now I've been there myself. I made quite a few mistakes in the beginning buying things that I didn't need or that didn't work for me. So I would love to help you out. I have to say though that the key to this is, the supplies that I'm going to recommend is from the viewpoint of a realistic animal artist. In case you just stumbled on this video, I'm showing you a few different pieces of my work just to make sure you get what I mean. The reason I'm mentioning this is that depending on your art style, your needs could be quite different. For instance, if your style is more painterly, you don't necessarily need to use pencils to create your idea. This doesn't mean that what I say in this video can't be applicable for other styles, but it does mean that the supplies are assembled in a way that is best suited for the realistic animal artist. So I'm going to show you the basic setup if you want to do wildlife drawings or even pet portraits. I'm also keeping in mind the fact that you have zero to little experience with the medium. When it comes to mediums, you won't know if you like it until you try it, but if you have a colored pencil background, I have a video that illustrates the difference between the two. So this might already give you an idea if pastel is something for you. I did my best to trim out all the excess and keep this really basic. I think this works best when you're just starting out. If I would be talking about all the different papers out there, you would be confused before you even got started. Some shameless self-promoting though, if you do want to check out 4 different types of paper, then watch this video on papers, after you finished watching this one of course. Now let's get started, shall we? The first thing you need to buy is obviously your medium, in this case pastel. And I would recommend starting with pencils, more precisely the Carbotellos from Stabilo. Now why do I recommend these? Overall they have a good color range, but for the wildlife artists in particular, they have lots of grays and browns in there. Now if you're already familiar with drawing wildlife, you'll know that these are some of the most used colors. If you're just starting out, trust me when I say you'll need these colors very frequently. I do have to mention that I'm talking about their biggest set, which contains 60 pencils. I'm aware that this already comes at a quite steep price. I looked it up on Jackson's and this comes down to 94 euros. But this is the one I would recommend since you need a range of different tones to draw realistically. If you don't want to spend as much money because you're not even sure you're going to like the medium, no problem, I've done a few videos where I'm only using the 36 set. So it's possible to draw realistically with fewer pencils. You will just need to pick your subjects accordingly to the pencils you have available. However, I would not go lower than a 36 set. In this set you'll find the most important colors and already a little bit of variation in the browns. And I think you'll roughly pay half the price of the biggest set. When it comes to the pencils themselves, besides having a very good color range, they are also easy to work with because they fall right in the middle between a soft and a hard pastel pencil. I'll try to explain this in a nutshell. You have harder pastels, like for instance the pit pastels from Faber-Castell, so when you lay this pastel down on your paper, you will get a harder, smoother line, but blending with this isn't as easy. On the other hand, you've got really soft pastels, like for example the one from Caran d'Ache. Now since these are so soft, getting a fine line with them will be more difficult, while the blending with this pencil is amazing. So there are the two extremes, and in the middle you'll find the Carbotellos, being soft enough to blend good and still quite good at getting down those thin lines easily. And in particular when you're starting out, having a more neutral pencil will be easier to get the hang of drawing with pastels. Another reason why I like them so much is their price. I know I said the price of their biggest set is quite steep, but if you compare the Carbotellos to other pastel pencils that are on the market, you'll find they are amongst the cheapest brands. And what's even better, there isn't a single pastel pencil out there that will give you so much value for your money as the Stabilo Carbotellos. Now do keep in mind that these are all my own opinions. I'm also not going to give you a full summary on these pencils because I've already have a review on the Carbotellos if you like to learn more. So, my recommendation is to get the Stabilo Carbotello 36 set or upwards. The second thing you'll definitely need is your paper, and for this I recommend Pastel Mat from Clairefontaine. Unfortunately, this is quite expensive paper, but there is no way around it. In my opinion, and also for a lot of other well-known artists, this is the best paper out there. Simply because it can take a lot of layers, and this is exactly what you'll need if you want to draw in a realistic style. Pastel Mat is quite unique in a sense that it falls amongst the gritty papers, yet it hasn't got that rough surface like some of the other papers out there. When it comes to the color, I'd recommend choosing dark gray. This is the perfect mid-tone. Later on you can experiment with other colors, but when you're just starting out, this will help you get started because you can already judge your highlights and shadows easily, since the paper has a wonderful mid-tone. I recommend to get a big sheet which measures 50 by 70 centimeters because this will be more cost efficient. You'll roughly pay around €8 for a sheet and you will have lots of space to test out your pastel. Jackson's also has a variety of mixed pastel paper packs, so this could be something you want to try out later to see if you like other papers more. But I'm pretty sure after you've tested some other papers you will say, damn, that Tina was right. And then the last thing I recommend has to do with the sharpen the pencils. If it's your first try and you want to invest as little as possible, just use a box cutter tool you most likely have lying around the house. The only remark I have to make is to make sure that the knives you use are very sharp. I have a video on sharpening where I have different methods that I show. I don't think I show you how to work with the box cutter knife because personally I'm quite clumsy. But if this is something you would like to see from me, I can try to make a video without cutting off any fingers, hopefully. So if I don't use a box cutter, what do I use? I use the pencil shaver from Caran d'Ache. This basically works like the box cutter, but is a lot safer and works more comfortable. The only reason I don't recommend you buy this at first is to save you some money, but as soon as you want to continue on your pastel journey, this is a tool I recommend you to get. And that is all you need to get started and try out pastel. So the Carbotellos 36 and upwards set from Stabilo and a sheet of dark grey Pastel Mat from Clairefontaine. And like I said about the sharpening, a box cutter tool will suffice, and if you do want to splash out, you can get the pencil peeler or shaver from Caran d'Ache. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support as this helps to grow my channel and reach other people like yourself. Hope to see you again next Friday, and in the meantime, have a great week.